if you're going to make the rest of your life the best of your life, if you're going to make the next half or quarter century of your life the life you want and desire on your terms, you must know the difference between who you truly are, that is, who you were born to be, and who society and history have misled you into believing that you are. And then you must discover, adopt, and implement strategies, techniques, and solutions that help you gain the confidence and courage you need to succeed. That's the third secret to success. It's knowing the difference because you've been lied to. And we've all been lied to it and misled at some point or another. But we don't have to remain ignorant of the truth. The solution begins in discovering yourself, knowing the difference, and growing to make the rest of your life the best of your life. Welcome to episode number 3 of the Powerhouse Motivations Secrets to Success series. Once again, I'm Ernie Davis, the People's Coach. And as I always like to say, I am possibly one of the most awesome, inconspicuous multimillionaires you will ever meet. I'm the guy who loves life, loves living, and loves sharing his knowledge and wisdom and showing men and women, aspiring entrepreneurs, dreamers, freedom seekers, and public speakers how to achieve success so that they can live, create, and enjoy the lifestyles they want and desire on their own terms as leaders and influencers of people. And today, we're going to pick up where we left off in episode number 2, Discovering Your Authentic Self, the episode where we discussed the value of your stopping to pause, reflect, and discover yourself on a mental, physical, and spiritual level so that you can live, create, and enjoy the life that you want and desire on your terms. Now, episode 2 was good. In my opinion, it was better than episode number 1, but this episode is going to be even better. And that's just a confirmation that you don't have to be great to get started, but you've got to get started to eventually be great. And we're on the road to greatness. Listen, here's what we're going to do today. Once again, I've got Miss Christine Harper, Mr. Michael Estu, and Mr. Collins Akintade all on the call. And I've got a number of questions I'm going to ask each of them. But instead of just listening to their perspectives and hearing their answers, I want you to join us in this conversation. Join the conversation and answer the questions for yourself. And if you're comfortable, share your thoughts below. And maybe before the series is over, we've got about 6 or 7 more sessions to go, but maybe before we're done, you can record yourself answering a future or past question. Submit it to admin@powerhousemotivations.com, and we can add it to the series. Now, I think that would be awesome. But what do you think? And here's the first question I have. And I'll ask this one to Mr. Akintade because I know that some years ago, he was at a point of transition in his life. He joined the Tagger coaching program. We read the book Think and Grow Rich as a part of the program. We had some great conversations, and it had a profound impact on his life in step 3 of the process. CJ, can you start us out today by sharing that experience and helping us understand what that discovery did for you?
Yeah, I think the conversation and what I love about the process of going through Think and Grow Rich is thinking is the beginning of all things, right? As a man think, and I went down this journey, this rabbit hole when I began to change my life, where I had become everything I thought I was. Like I thought I was a pimp, I became a pimp. I thought I was a sailor, I became a sailor. I thought I was a drunk, I became a drunk. All these things that I constantly thought about, I became. And that's when the light bulb clicked. I started reading Think and Grow Rich. Right in the book, they talk about the subconscious mind, and you realize your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and fantasy. But when you create that mental picture of your life, and it was one of the first exercises I did with you, he was like, I need you to create a mental picture of who you are at your supremacy, right? Not what you were told by your teachers, not what you were told by your parents, not what you were told by drill sergeants, not what you were told by your friends, but who is Colin Akintade at your supremacy? And we created the mental picture, right? Who are you? What is the mental picture that you have of yourself? And you had me go over and over, get more detail. What are you wearing? What do you weigh? What does your family look like? Are you wearing a ring? What color is your ring, right? You had me go through and create this mental picture. And the more and more I created this mental picture, I was able to see it, visualize it. I was able to talk myself through it. Where am I standing? Right? Can you truly grasp it? Like, is your palm sweating from you standing on stage speaking? All these things I began to create, and reaffirming that mental picture is how you walk towards it. Right? If I was, for me, it was calling myself king. Right? I went from calling myself menace to calling myself king. Now there are things that come along with calling yourself king that you can't get away with when you call yourself menace, right? You call yourself king, everybody is looking at you to see you said you was a king. Why are you doing that? You said you was a king. And it's what I wanted people to do. So it called me to behave, move, and walk in a higher standard. I started walking towards my mental image and walking away from what I had defined myself as, right? It was very easy for me to call myself a pimp or a real nigger or a thug. It was very easy for me to call myself these things because I believed what society told me. But calling myself king, whew, that was difficult because I had to not just believe it, I had to see myself as that. And I think that's what's important is creating that visual picture of what you want, and it helps you start to behave in that manner.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, CJ, you're saying you had to redefine yourself, understand the difference between your previous beliefs, and recreate yourself as a king of kings in your own unique and special way. You had to create a visual picture of yourself and what you wanted. And that helped you transition and become a better, more powerful and authentic version of yourself. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now I heard a little of this in your last response. But how did you find the courage to actually follow through and take the steps necessary to become the person you desired to be? Because let's face it, a lot of people try to change and transition and they get stuck in their old ways. Whether it's in their environment, an environment they can't escape, life obstacles or something else, it's difficult. So what did you do? How did you escape?
I fully bought into the belief that I could change my reality. It wasn't limited to anybody else. I fully bought into, if I change, I can change my circumstances. And for a lot of people, they don't believe that, right? It makes me think about Frederick Douglass when he said, I prayed for 20 years and nothing happened until I prayed with my feet, until I prayed with my hands, until I started doing these things to change my environment. So I fully believe that I could do things to change my environment, right? Once I changed my belief set, I started working on my attitude and my outlook of the world, right? It's not, why are they picking on me or why is this happening to me? It's I'm thankful that this happened to me because there's something I'm supposed to get out of this. I'm thankful that I'm in this position, right? Shifting my mindset, my attitude, my posture, sitting up a little straight, just doing these little things. The world and God would give me these wins that would allow me to keep going, right? I would just get these wins in life, right? I would get these little small breakthroughs that showed that there was evidence in me as I'm walking towards. I would get these breakthroughs and wins, right? These things in my life that I was held in bondage, whether it was financial things. For instance, I was living a life that was pretty bad, right? So I remember my license was suspended, and this was 2014, and 2014 puts me at maybe 24 years old, and I'm 24 years old, maybe even older than that. So 2014, yeah. So let's just say I'm 24 years old, and my mother comes down. I'm in the Navy. I'm driving this car on and off base. I don't have no insurance in the car because my license is suspended. And my mother comes down. She says, "You can't be driving this car with no insurance." Right? Maybe it's motherly intuition. Maybe it's the fact that I was trying, and God was allowing her to help me out. And something put it on her to put my vehicle under her insurance. And I'm on my lunch break, and the guy rear ends me, and he rear ends me and totals the car. Now, had I been an uninsured driver, that's completely my fault. Right? The guy rear ends me, totaled the car, and because I had just had insurance, although I was unlicensed at the time, because I had insurance in that vehicle, the accident was no longer my fault. They totaled the vehicle and they gave me the money for the vehicle. And these are just little small wins that I had. That could have easily been a position that put me in jail for driving an unregistered vehicle with no insurance and not having a driver's license. So these little small wins that I was having really helped me get the courage to keep going. Like there's something here, right? There's something here, right? At work, they're seeing like your attitude is different. There's something here, right? Hey, you stop complaining so much. You stop showing up late. Little small things. As I started to behave in the manner of this image that I created in my mind, I was no longer able to do, and I was being. People can see the change in you. You don't have to tell people you changed. You show them you've changed with your actions and behavior, and that's what I was able to do.
Okay, so what I'm hearing here is that you bought into the belief that you could change your reality. And you started to take note and add up all of the small wins and victories that you experienced along the way. That's valuable. Now, CJ, I'm going to come back to you shortly. But for those of you watching, what did you take from what you just heard? And are there any questions? What questions do you have? If you have a question, go ahead and put it below. If not, I want to go to Mr. Michael Estu and then Ms. Christine Harper. But feel free to respond in the comments. Mr. Michael Estu, I have two questions. But first, in your own words, can you quickly remind us of who you are and what it is that you love doing?
I would say I am Michael Antonio Estu, an energetic, intuitive, sensitive, loving, compassionate, considerate, energetic being that loves being able to help men and women, loves being able to, live life and live freely. And I just love being able to be free. I love being able to help and provide and be there for men and women in need.
So let me ask you this. What skills and abilities do you believe that you have, or do you believe you have, that help you fulfill your mission or do the things you love doing to help and support other people? Can you share that with us?
Yes, sir. The skills and abilities that I have, I would say diplomatic. I would say intuitive, like emotionally intelligent. I would say the drive and the ambition, the motivation and inspiration to be able to help and provide for men and women, to be there, be there for men and women in need. And I would say, the patience and the compassion within me to be able to work with men and women, to collaborate with men and women as, a team member, and also like that drive to seek, to be able to help people.
All right, Michael. So you're intuitive, diplomatic, emotionally intelligent, ambitious, compassionate, and patient. So as we're talking about having the courage to transition and become the person you truly desire to be, where are you, or where would you say that you are in the process? And is there anything else you believe you need to let go of in order to be successful?
Like I'm in the I would say I'm in the process of like being able to, let go of everything that everything that I was taught who I am growing up, and I'm in the process of like believing in myself. Like I truly want to believe that I am capable of achieving success, that I am I'm in the process of really just, finding myself and wanting better for myself, and knowing that I have what it takes to become successful. It's just I have to let go of those those self-limiting beliefs, and like let go of everything that people told me that I'm not going to do, or like people have told me that I am. And I had to find within myself like that, like you said, I have to find within myself that courage to take that step further, I would say.
So, Michael, what I hear is that you're in the process of finding the courage to believe in yourself, knowing that you have what it takes to be successful, and then moving forward and overcoming the gap to transition from point A to point B. For those of you watching, I thank you. Now, If you can relate to what you're hearing today, please give us a thumbs up. Hit the like button. Share this video with someone you know it might be able to help or guide them in a new direction or help and share a new perspective with them. And I'll go to Ms. Harper. Ms. Harper, Christine, you know, one of the biggest struggles is that once you have discovered who you are and what you want, as Michael is experiencing, there always seems to be a gap between getting what you want and becoming the person you desire. As someone with a wealth of experience and practical knowledge, what advice do you have for those looking to bridge the gap?
Absolutely. You've heard me say, it's funny when you just said that, you've heard me tell the story before about one time being in, I was in high school and I was getting off the train, shuffling off the train with a bunch of people, and I misstepped and my foot fell in between the train car and the platform. Fell down. And now I'm like, oh, sugar, because we didn't curse back then. And until somebody yelled out, oh my God, the train is going to take her leg off. And I snapped to it. I said, oh no, it's not. I'm getting out of here and I'm taking my leg with me. And I don't know if I reached out or somebody reached out their hand, but I was able to get up and keep moving. But the thing that comes to mind always when I think about that situation is there's always a gap between where you are and where you think you should be. And I thought I should be on that platform, but I wasn't paying attention. And I wasn't paying attention. And so I missed and fell into the gap. And I encourage anybody out there listening, there are places you think you want to be. You want to get a new car. You want to take a vacation. Well, there's a gap between now and then. You got to make plans. You got to get your money together. You got to decide exactly what it is you want. What kind of car? What kind of features do you have to have? How are you going to pay for it? In the gap, there's some things you have to evaluate. And sometimes you need help evaluating them because you think you know, but you really don't. And so you have to also employ a level of wisdom to say, I don't know all this. But I know there are people who do know. Let me reach out to my network. Let me just, even if I have to ask my network, do you know somebody who knows this or who specializes in this? But get the detail to fill in the gap.
So, Christine, when you found yourself in that difficult moment, because in everyone's strive to become, there are going to be some difficult moments. There's going to be some times where they get stuck in the gap. How did you rescue yourself, or how did you find your way out of that gap? And I ask this because maybe others can emulate what you did and find their way to success.
That thing where we had to reach up and hold on to the bars, this is in the playgrounds in New York. It was like a bar and you walked across the ladder with your hands. Like a lot of my friends that were boys could do it, but I never could do that. I could get up there and I could hold on, but I couldn't move. I say that because when your leg is down in between those the train and the track, the train and the platform, your arms are outside and you really need a lot of upper body strength to lift yourself out of there. And I didn't have that. So I needed help. But in the moment when you fall down, or often, I think this is in many situations, when you fall down, when you have an accident, you freeze. And it's not, maybe it's a little bit of fear. Yeah, probably a lot of fear. And you just freeze. You don't do anything. It's just like an old sugar moment. In that time of being frozen, though, you got to say, let me call on my resilience. Let me call on my God. Let me call on these people around me that may be able to help, and snap out of it. Snap out of it. Because we're going to fall into gaps many times in our life because we think we know the answer already. when you get in that spot, you got to snap out of it and ask for help.
So, am I hearing this correctly? It sounds like you're saying that if you're going to be successful and enjoy the life you want and desire, you've got to dig down and find something within yourself, something you may not even believe you have until it's needed to help you recover and lift yourself up, out and over the gap. You've got to snap out of whatever you're going through. You've got to lift yourself up, get over your fears, and if needed, you've got to ask for help. Now, I think I got that right. But is there a more practical situation? Because most people will never ride a train in the DC or New York Metro, but a lot of people are motivated to find and rediscover themselves after being forced out of their jobs as a result of downsizing, reduction in forces, layoffs, or maybe they've been fired. Can you relate to that? And how can they recover, or how do you believe they can get over that?
I've been there. I lost my job. I was laid off. And in when she first told me, I don't know, it's funny. My first thought was, I used to like you to my manager, because I really did. But I think you're making the wrong decision here. But then you have to snap out of that. And probably the first 24 hours I was frozen. I didn't do anything. I just was like, oh my gosh, why me? All right, let's get over it. Why me? You're not the only one. Other people have gone through this. Get some help. Start asking people, what did you do? Or what do you think I should do? Or what resources should I be looking at? But in the beginning, you're going to be frozen. And in a way, I think you have to sit with that fear, that shock. You have to sit with it a little bit, but don't stay there.
Okay, so if you're watching, what do you think about what you just heard? Ms. Harper mentioned asking for help, creating a plan, and just allowing your inner strength and fortitude to help you snap out of it and overcome your fears. Now, if you're watching, you can drop a comment below. But I want to go back to Mr. CJ. Mr. Akintati, CJ, you spoke earlier about having a plan and creating a vision for your future. And a lot of people focus on having a very detailed and rigid plan, and a well-developed plan long before they ever found the courage to take action and get started. What about you? Did you have a clear-cut and well-thought-out, well-defined plan from the start? Did you have to improvise, or what did you have to do to make your vision of your future self a reality in the present? What did you have to do?
Yeah, in creating a vision for myself and having a plan of who it is that I wanted to become, initially I didn't have the clear-cut plan. But what I had is I looked around and saw the people that I wanted to emulate. So I was stealing, right? I like how this person does that. Let me take that in. I like how that person does that. Let me add that. And I was creating my mental image by borrowing, right? I watched Eddie Murphy says every comic becomes a comic from watching a comic do something and saying, I can do that. And so I will see successful men in my life, whether it be a master chief at my command or first class, and I would see these people and how they had a positive image, and I would just, okay, this person does this person does this well. So initially I was borrowing images of people that I had around me, and I used that to kind of shape and hone in the mental picture that I wanted for my life and myself.
Okay, so you didn't have a clear plan from the beginning, but you got started and you found role models, examples, and people in your environment that you allowed to guide you, mentor you, and help you move in the right direction as you pull the plan and the vision together. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Now, CJ, you left early last week, and we're about to wrap up this episode, quick episode. So do you have any last words or parting thoughts before we jump over to Mr. Michael?
So if you're watching this and you've taken the opportunity and time to really watch this, I just want to encourage you to keep going and take this process serious. Take this process very serious and keep going through the process. Do not quit, right? You may face some obstacles. The obstacles in your life are designed to make you stronger. But I encourage you, do not quit. Keep pressing forward. And if you fall forward. Or as Les Brown would say, when I fall down, make sure you fall on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. So I just want to encourage you, if you're watching this, just keep going through the process, because the reward of the work, the reward of the dignity, the reward is worth it. So thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Hey, CJ, thanks. I'm sure everyone who's watching will appreciate what you just said. That was very motivating and encouraging. Mr. Restu, you're fresh into this. You're still working through the steps, and it's very possible that many of our viewers are feeling exactly the way you do as they begin this journey to becoming the person they were born to be. What has been your biggest obstacle or your biggest struggle, or the thing you've struggled with the most while trying to move forward and recreate yourself? And has there been anything that you've had to try really hard to let go of to move forward more successfully?
The most struggle that I had with moving forward is just those self-limiting beliefs, and really just like, what if this doesn't work out, or what if my plan doesn't go right, or what if what do the people think about me, if I do this, if I quit my job and find a new position, or like find a better opportunities out there for myself, or even just a whole new life. Like what if this doesn't work out for me, or like what if I don't have what it takes to be to make those changes and prepare myself for those steps in my life. But it's just it's all within my mind. Like I have to let go of those like how I see myself, how I used to see myself. I had to let go of how I used to see myself, and being inadequate, or like from all the people that had told me that I'm dumb or I'm stupid, or no, you can't do that, you can't be to achieve that. Like, why don't you just get like a regular job? It's just enough is enough. I want to be to live my own life on my own terms, and I don't want to take orders from anybody else except my own, because I know exactly what is right for me.
Hey, thanks, Michael. I'm sure everyone watching will be able to relate to what you just said. Before I go to Ms. Harper, are there any last words or closing thoughts you'd like to share with the group this week?
If you truly are looking to be to have that power within yourself to make the changes and take the steps and to really become successful in your own way, you have to look at the spark within yourself. You have to look at the spark of life. It's like the life that you have, the fire within your soul, the fire within your heart, to know that you can become successful. And the fuel to that fire is those positive affirmations, looking at your vision, looking at your plan, your mission, and being able to apply those steps to prepare yourself for success. If you want to build up a fire of faith within yourself, you have to encourage yourself. You have to find encouragement in the things that you do, and by taking the initiative, you can be to build up that flame of faith within yourself to take those steps to become successful.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like that spark of energy, that light, that passion within. I agree. Ms. Harper, we'll wrap this up with you. In your professional opinion, how important is it to do something that you're passionate about, something that you feel good about, something that you're naturally aligned with? And in our quest to becoming the person we were born to be, do you think it's more important that we prioritize money and financial responsibilities, or is it more important that we do something in our area of giftedness, something that we're passionate about? What are your thoughts?
I think it's very important. I think that there are going to be phases in your life where you don't have that option. If you have young children, you are responsible for those children, to feed them, to clothe them, to house them. And so you have to make some decisions about not just financial opportunity, but also how you roll. You can't go out Friday and Saturday night if you have young children that need somebody to take care of them. You have to be attentive. You have to focus on what you've been tasked to do by the universe, which is raise your children. As you get a little bit older and you have options, you need to select a career, or it could be a side hustle, but select doing things that make you happy. Select things that are in alignment with who you are here to be.
Let me repeat that second half of that question. In our quest to becoming the person we were born to be, do you think it's more important that we prioritize money, financial success, or should we prioritize doing something in our area of giftedness, something that we're passionate about?
I think I told you before, I had gotten into grad school at NYU, got into School of Social Work, and I believe the fee was like $20,000 a year. And I would have had to take out a loan for that. And I would have had to live at home during that time. And the job didn't pay but $18,000 to $20,000 a year, that job of a social worker. And so I was making a decision based on finance, based on what was popular then. It was the early 80s. People were making money hand over fist if you were in the right position. So I chose something that put me in a position to make more money, which is learning MIS. We called it the MIS back then, Management Information Systems. Now it's IT. Well, it went to IT. I don't really know what it is now, but I made a decision about making more money. But had I gone to graduate school, now let me say something else. Had I gone to graduate school and become a social worker, I might not have liked that job, because I'm sure that social workers have a lot of paperwork. I mean, what I see in movies, right? They have a lot of paperwork. They have to follow the rules. Sometimes I bet they think I'm not really helping this person. I'm just shuffling them around. I'm making sure they have milk for their children, but am I helping them learn something so that they can stand on their own 2 feet? So I'm sure there are some frustrations in that job too. And maybe I would have found that out earlier in life and then moved on to another area of teaching or coaching. Part of it is teaching, because a good social worker, or a good social worker will find a way to encourage the recipient to do better. Sometimes I think people are in the system and because that's all they know. That's all they know. My mama was in the system. She came down here and she got public assistance, and so why can't I get it? Same thing. Oh no, my friend over there is getting such and such more money for their child because he has a club foot. Well, my child can't read, or they learn how to take advantage of the system. And as a social worker, I think you have an opportunity to redirect some of those people and to help them. And some of that is in teaching them that there are better opportunities out here. There are options for them.
Awesome. Got it. Christine, as we close out today's session, if there was one magic word or one thing you could say to encourage and help our viewers push forward through adversity and help them to get out of the gap, what would that be? What's the magic word to success? Because a lot of people are looking. What's that one word?
I don't think there's one magic word, but I know that you have to learn how to believe in yourself. And many of us do not think that we are capable. And many of us are told, you just like your father. You just like so-and-so who was a loser. It doesn't matter. It does matter. But no matter what your upbringing or who you hung around or who your blood related to, You have the capability within yourself to be something greater. God has given each one of us some skills, talents, and abilities. And if we learn how to harness them and really develop them, we can be better than the world thinks we can be.
I agree. We can be better than the world thinks we can be. Thank you, Ms. Harper. Have an awesome weekend. And for those of you who are watching, here's the final perspective. You can be, do, and achieve anything you put your mind to. It doesn't matter if you're 30, 40, 50, or 60. If you can still get up and stand up, step up, you can transform your life and experience a different reality, a different existence. You can be your own boss, enjoy a new perspective, chart your own course, and allow your life story, experiences, and life lessons or lessons learned to influence and uplift the lives of others. And there are really not a lot of things that you can't do if it's still within your area of giftedness. But to really know what's possible, you must know the difference between who you truly are, that is, who you were born to be, and who society and history have misled you into believing and thinking that you are. And then you must discover, adopt, and implement strategies, techniques, and solutions that help you gain the confidence and courage you need to succeed. That's the third secret to success. It's knowing the difference. And with that, I invite you to join me back here for episode number 4, where we'll discuss and uncover the fourth secret to success. But until then, I'm Ernie Davis, the People's Coach, and I'll see you soon.